Hello and welcome to the Animazing Podcast. This is 8th Division Captain D. This is the Shinigami named Matt, and the what's your race, Modi?
Man, I don't want to be a Quincy. I guess I'll be a. Oh, I'll be a full. What are the Fullbrings called? A Fullbringer?
Yep,
I'm a Fullbringer for sure.
Awesome. And if you haven't noticed yet, we are talking about Bleach, the 1,000-Year Blood War, episodes 6, 7, and 8, aka the Soul Society gets lit, Ichigo gets hit, and we have a new characters to be introduced to. I busted the third one. I am so
Did
sorry.
you come up with that on the spot?
Damn it, and we have a bunch of new characters that are hot shit.
I was going to say shit in there, but I'm glad you saved it. Before I did.
So, well, that being said, Modi, what are your thoughts? And Matt, how's your Bankai?
Okay, so before we start, I know this is just not going to get mentioned at all, so I just want to say that I'm glad we found out what happened to the Fullbringers, the antagonists from the last arc, Matt.
I thought they were freaking dead.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it's pretty crazy to expect people to die, but yeah, I'm glad we found out what happened to them. That was like a nice little tidbit, and they didn't even like dwell on it too long. It was just like a little like, oh, here you go, this is what happened to them, and then just kept it moving. It's these people in episode 8 who showed up at the very end to help Ichigo like fly to the royal palace.
Oh, like Team Zero?
They were, yeah, some of them. No, yeah, not Team Zero, but like the people who the people who like operated the elevator thing to get. I don't know how to explain it. Like it was that lady, and then it was like yeah. Anyway,
it was at the very end of the episode.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, so Matt, just to catch you up. So in the Bleach universe, every single form of matter has a soul, and the Fullbringers are a class of people who can control those souls. So if I was a Fullbringer, I could take my guitar and then turn it into like a Buster Sword, or if I'm like really close to my desk lamp, I could turn that into a weapon. So like there's one character who can do that with a sword, there's one character who does that with their skin, and there's yet another character that does it with hairpins.
I feel like I missed a chunk of the episode. What happened to the guy that was trapping Ichigo?
I have no idea.
Okay.
Killed off screen, I think.
So what I gather, what happened with that is that his name was Opie, and I think what happened is, Opie couldn't keep him in the jail because it turned out that, spoiler alert, Ichigo has Quincy blood. Because apparently his mother was a Quincy. So apparently that jail cannot keep in people who have Quincy blood. I think overall it was just like convenient plot timing that it just so happened that he happened to break out just when, Baha had, already killed Yamamoto and all that. But yeah, I think that's the explanation for that.
Dude, I hate the name Quincy for like a race or group. It's just it sounds like we're a race of Bob.
It's so wimpy.
I agree.
We're the chumsies.
I think that's part of the reason I don't like Quincy's, actually, like, unironically, is their names.
I mean, you have your main, like, you can't even pronounce your, like, main leader's, like, name, and he's, like, so trigger happy. I would be, like, I still don't know how to pronounce his name. I'm just picturing myself, like, hello, Lord Waka Flocka, vaporized. Hello, Lord Yahweh, vaporized. Hello, Lord Chewbacca.
Fun fact, there is a 74,000 view video on YouTube right now solely about how to pronounce his name. It's okay, so the Japanese pronounce it Yuhabaha, but it's a German name, obviously, and in German it's supposed to be pronounced Yuhavak, which makes sense, I guess, yeah.
See, that's gotta be a nightmare for, like, everyone involved, because I feel like
yeah
Tai Kubo just like tells someone like this really obscure German word. He has his like Japanese accent. His like staff doesn't know the fuck German is, so they try to like fit that into like hiragana or katakana, and then the reader's just like, "Oh, you bak wak wak wak."
The only people who won't get confused in this process is like people watching in Germany. Like that's it.
Yeah.
They're the only ones who know what's actually going on.
Everyone named Yuabaka is now vindicated.
Yeah.
Oh, I had another question. What happened to the the two kids that were at the very start of the season? Like the one girl who's
oh,
like,
yeah.
why are you such a dumbass? The other kid's like, oh, I'm sorry. What, like, who are they and what happened to them?
They either were...
They're probably still alive because we didn't see the killed, but, like...
I don't think we've seen
them
them
yet.
yet.
In
They're
the
probably...
previous show? Like, or are these new characters?
These are new characters.
Yeah, they're new characters, but that is a good point. I wonder what's gonna come of them. I wonder if they're just there to kind of like introduce the premise of the arc, or if like there's actually something more that's gonna happen to them later on. That would be interesting if there was. Maybe it'll be a kind of thing where it's like, okay, so here's a theme / trend that I'm starting to pick up on / maybe I'm just making it up in my head, which is that I think there might come a theme of passing on the torch and like the young taking over the old, because we're seeing like in the very beginning of the arc, like this arc is opening up with the strongest guy, the oldest guy, the leader dying, right? And he dies in a burst of flame, right? And and then you find out that there is a Squad Zero, which contains a whole bunch of people who used to make up like the 13 squads who who went on, moved forward, and then so that the younger people could come and take over. So now you see these two young kids that you guys were talking about. Maybe it'll be a kind of theme of like, Ichigo will move on from like being a Soul Reaper and like he'll pass on the torch to these two. I don't know. Maybe that's probably just headcanon. I'm just making it up, but maybe something like that might happen.
It was an interesting...
I kind of feel like... Okay. No, I was going to say, like, this theme of this definitely feels like, it feels like it has a theme of, like, where you came from isn't where you're coming... I think it's more about discovering your past and discovering where you came from. Because we both saw, like, the glasses guy, Uryu, at the beginning, researching the past of the history of the Quincy's, and we also have Ichigo finding out that he has this whole other heritage that he knows nothing about. And I feel like the biggest thing with this is going to be figuring out how to deal with, say, your family, your heritage, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Because I will say it's interesting, the way that this season started. I think it's a cool concept if you have like this main character for your show a lot and you follow them in the main characters. And then whenever you take a moment to step back and see, well, how would like these newcomers see these characters that are now like in their prime? Especially since these characters are like new and probably in the same like sort of position that the main character was. I'm making a lot of inferences here, but I kind of like that as an interesting like different framing device to where you're almost making the main character a side character for a bit. Just to see the type of impact they have on like normal people within their organization. I think they dropped that pretty quickly, but I mean, I'm kind of fine with them dropping that because like this is a show about anime protagonist, man, whatever his name is, Ichigo. I said it. I'm just being rude.
Oh my god, you actually got it right! Congrats, man! Congrats.
That's
You're
the
a Bleach
only
fan
character
now.
name that I know. But
that's the only one you need to know.
I want to talk about. I feel like Yamamoto's fight kind of got overshadowed by the fact that he died, but his fight was crazy, and I want to talk about that because that has to be like one of the best fights in Bleach that I've ever seen.
Oh yeah,
maybe even in a lot of anime. Like it was so good. His Bankai moment was unreal. Like, this man has like 5 Bankai packed in one. It's crazy.
Yes.
It's crazy.
Okay, so I have issues with that. So, first of all, insanely awesome fight. Second of all, horrible tactics. Like, this dude comes in and just one-shots 1/24th of your enemy team. The guy literally named Overkill. And his first instinct is just to go headfirst into the big boss. Like, can you imagine how easy this could have gone if he just went around and just made the rounds around, like, the area and just took out all the grunts before going to the big guy?
Are you talking about if Yamamoto did that?
Yeah.
Yamamoto's the old guy, right?
Like...
Yes. Oh yeah. Sorry, Matt. He's the old guy, the one who died. Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Fucking old guy.
Imagine
think about it.
Imagine Matt going through this whole podcast episode not knowing who the fuck Yamamoto is.
1 hour in.
I watched the wrong anime, yeah, but still, the things I'm saying still apply. It's the same fucking things.
Mr. Jujutsu Kaisen, am I right?
Yeah. Mr. Bleach.
But like, seriously, like, I think this has probably been the least tactically sound, because think about it. There were 24 enemies. It took him 1 second to kill Overkill. It would have taken him, by that logic, 24 seconds, half a minute to wipe out all of the other, like, forces, and then he could go into fight Baka Baka.
Okay, wait. Why are you saying he should kill the enemies first before fighting
So
them?
you don't... Because if he was that huge of a threat... there will be a chance that he could lose. And the other thing is, we know that he's strong enough to take the grunts on. We also know that his subordinates are getting crushed by said grunts.
Okay.
So he could have easily just made the rounds and worked his way up to the final boss.
Here's what I would say to that, which is, I think that it would make sense to go after the boss first right away, because even if, like, your people are losing to the grunts, you don't want to waste your power, even if it won't take that long to defeat the grunts. You don't want to waste any of your power on them. You'd rather just save it, especially since you're the only one who can take out the boss. I would think it would probably be better to just save it, take out the boss cleanly, and then maybe if you have energy left over, go take out the grunts. Because if you take out the boss, then everything else is, like, taken care of. Like, the grunts are dead if the boss is dead. That's how I would look at it.
But to counter that, I want to say that after watching this episode, I can safely say that Son Goku from Dragon Ball Z is easily smarter than Yamamoto. So at least in Dragon Ball Z, they know to, like, slowly power up to gauge the enemy. This motherfucker just jumped in and just started leveling up out of nowhere.
Okay. Counter to that. All right, counter to that. And I'm gonna counter this from the perspective of what something someone like Matt would say if that happened. If Yamamoto just spent his time leveling up, like powering up slowly, Matt would come in on this episode and be like, Yamamoto's an idiot because he already knows this guy from 1,000 years ago. He already knows how strong he is. He already knows the kind of damage he can do. So he shouldn't be wasting any time whatsoever. He should just be getting straight to the cut and killing him immediately.
That's a good point. That's a good point I would make. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome, Matt.
Matt, you're rubbing off on him.
Here's the thing I want to add to Dee's point. Modi, I think you're right. The way that the show is, I think it is kind of wise. Because if he doesn't go after the main boss, then the main boss is just going to continue to rack up, like, the other guys. Like, if he just kind of leaves him alone.
Yeah.
But what was he doing at the first half of the fight? Like, the 3 episodes beforehand, where the entire armies came in and just started, like, killing literally everybody. Like, was he just, like, sitting on his ass the entire time? Watch it, like...
I guess that's true, and the only response I have to that is plot reasons.
I mean, yeah, obviously they're doing it, like, building it up so that they could have each... Like, I know, like, why they did it, like from a like a plot, like they wanted to have the characters each have their own fight, display their stuff, and then have the 2 big guys go at it. But they could have done it some other way. Like, maybe he was also locked off by some... I don't know. There's, like, ways he could have done it.
To counter Matt's point, to counter Modi's point, to counter my point, have you seen that mustache? That's a mustache you have to protect, okay? That's the kind of mustache that only gets involved when you need to get involved, okay?
I get so jealous. I get so jealous watching Bleach, watching his mustache flow in the wind.
It's so cool. I wish I had a mustache like that. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, let's talk about Yamamoto's death. I can't tell if that was, like, hilarious or savage, because, like, we've seen villains, like, spout their life story or, like, exposit their plan, but this motherfucker's gonna sit here and exposit the main character's backstory. He's just like, as you die, let me tell you your entire life story.
Okay.
You were a young man.
This is something I picked up on too, which is like, okay, I think that was good. Kind of. I think that was good because, like, okay, if Matt was okay, if they had done it the other way, like, imagine if he had given his monologue before killing Yamamoto. Matt would come in on this podcast and say, "That was so dumb. You kill him first, then you give your monologue. You don't want to, give him any chance at all to get up and take it over." So. Yeah, I thought that was pretty good decision.
This is why Bleach is Matt's 10 out of 10.
It's true. It's very true. I have some positive things to say about the fight.
Okay.
Go for it.
I think that I liked the fire robes. They looked really cool. In general, it was a very visually interesting and fun fight. However...
See, Bleach can have some good fights.
It was the visuals are really good. I don't think there's anything really good about any of the, like, tactics or moves that the characters were doing. Like, again, it has the same problem I have with every anime. They do, like, a flashy thing, then like exposit dialogue. Then then they do, like, another flashy. It's not like a continuous fight like the later fight between Ichigo and Mustache, whatever the hell his name is. King Stash. There you go. For example, when he brings up the dead skeleton, when he brings up the skeletons of the past, like, people that he's killed, I thought that was, like, a cool concept. But then the skeletons just kind of, like, walked into his face and, like, lightly touch him, and it's like, I don't know. Or, like, the entire time I know it's because it's not actually him, but, like, he's just kind of going, like, whoa, he's doing this, whoa, and there's, like, no, like, back and forth, and by the time we actually get, like, any kind of response, the actual boss just one-shots him anyways. So it's, like, the entire thing's a monologue or a monologue. It's them talking, doing cool, like, visual effects, and then it plays very, very much out like an RPG would.
Yeah, I will say this. I think the idea of this guy who can summon the ghost of Ghost is really epic. And I will say that love the animation of the fight, love the visuals, love the idea. I love the scene where the main character, the boss, summons his, like, ultimate unlimited super defense shield and then instantly jumps outside of it before the attack even starts. And I will, again, also say I'm happy Yamamoto got atomized, because I swear to God, as soon as he got cut in half, I was thinking, like, oh yeah, he's not dead. He's not dead. His legs are just going to start kicking, and he's just going to go, like, all, like, taekwondo on him. Like, it's not over yet. It's not over yet.
Yeah, the fact that they couldn't find the body, I was like, all right, it's confirmed. Well, actually, maybe it's not confirmed. Yeah, you know what? I take it back. Okay, wait. Okay. I have so many things I want to say right now. I want to say a few more things about Yamamoto, but let me just do a quick sidetrack to Byakuya, because I'm so mad that Byakuya is still alive. I told you. I said last Byakuya, he's the guy who got, like, impaled in the wall and he's, like, half dead. Yeah. So okay. I'm so even though I said last week, or last podcast, that he was definitely still alive, I still kind of was like, nah. Inside, I was like, he might be dead. He might be dead. And then at the beginning of episode 7, I think, when he did, like, his parting words to Ichigo, I was like, oh my God, they really killed him off. And then, like, not even a full episode later, you're like, oh yeah, he's alive. We're gonna save him.
Dude, did you, like, they only ripped his chest off. Like, you can just walk that off.
Yeah,
okay?
No big deal at all.
Also, let's just, like, I want to just jump ahead a little bit, but, like,
wait,
they're like,
before we jump ahead, can I just go back to Yamamoto and just say
go ahead, keep going.
All right, so with Yamamoto, I just want to say, like, I thought it was like smart of him to use Yuhavak's dead comrades against him with like his stealth maneuver, like the zombie thing. Even though I thought it was like unnecessary, because he could have killed him much sooner. I don't like the fact that he's like willing to psychologically torture his enemy before killing him. But I admit that, like, I think it's interesting to make him like that, because like most characters of that archetype are just righteous, you know, and you'd expect the leader of Soul Society itself to be righteous. So, and even I think Yuhavak even made a good point, because he pointed that out. Like, he pointed out the hypocrisy of the captain of Soul Society having a power like that, allowing you to like raise the dead. That's crazy, you know. I like the fact that in general Yamamoto is a character that has not had that much screen time at all throughout the series, but in the short amount of time that like they've pushed him, I mean, he showed up in the last big arc, but yeah, in this short amount of time they killed him off, but they, at least for me, they actually made me care when he died, and they just made him so interesting. Like, I like the fact that like he has like there's like a dark side to him, because like they even said that even like before the Quincy's attacked, he was just like, you know, he was even killing his own teammates. I don't know, I'm forgetting what the word is. So like I really like everything that was done with Yamamoto's character, and good job on that, and rest in peace, Yamamoto.
Yep. Well, rest in pieces.
Yeah, rest in pieces. Or two pieces, to be exact. Yeah.
Like I said, I'm not sure if he's still dead, okay? I don't see any ashes.
Yeah, but yeah, what were you going to say? You said you were going to jump ahead, D, to something?
Oh, yeah. So, Ichigo's entrance.
Yes. Oh, yes. I have stuff to say about that, too.
Okay. I'll give, like, I'm critical about, I love Taikubo's writing. I'm critical of his world building. I think it has a couple of holes. Like, where do Soul Reapers go when they die? Is there like a super heaven and a super hell? But one thing I will give him is he knows how to make his main characters. He knows how to give his main characters epic entrances. Like the moment he like jumps into the Soul Society and that one dude just pops up and he just vaporizes him before he can even give a monologue.
Oh my god! Yeah,
that was so awesome.
Okay.
Oh,
sorry. Go ahead.
No, like the only way this could be any better is if they're like, you have a scene where the Quincy's finally make it back to their home base. And they're all looking around. They're all like high-fiving each other. It's like, yes, minimum casualties, excellent work. And it gets revealed the guy Ichigo just vaporized was the heart of the group. He was the only person they all ever cared about. And the fact that he never even got a monologue out was just like the final nail into the heartstrings.
That'd be like an Attack on Titan moment, honestly.
Like, you have like, damn it, Joey, he was the guy, like... Why did it have to be him? He was the one who made us promise not to kill any civilians. Now that he's gone, nothing's off the table.
Yeah. I totally agree with you. I'm enjoying the fact that Kubo is making it so that everyone is putting respect on Ichigo's name. Like, even the Quincy's, who've never met him, know who he is and can recognize him just by his spiritual pressure. Like, no more of this, like, no more enemies underestimating his strength, no more having to beat all the little underlings before fighting the leader. No. Ichigo shows up, everyone knows he means business, there's no games being played, it's just him versus the leader on site, period. I feel like this is how the final arc of a battle series really should be. Like, the main character should just have, like, solidified hero status, and his reputation should just like speak for itself, you know. I like that a lot,
because that's the thing that always drives me crazy about anime, because like you have these main characters who've blown up planets, wiped out entire armies, and then you have like these villains who just stroll up and are just like, yeah, I got him.
Yeah.
Don't worry, I got this. I love it when the villains acknowledge that character is strong and plan around that. They're not just throwing themselves dick first into the hero.
Exactly. Like, especially that moment when Yuhavak stopped his lieutenant guy from like, he was like, oh, I'm gonna take on Ichigo, and he was like, no, don't do that, that's not a good idea. That's another thing I just want to say overall about, I know you guys just finished saying that the fights are dumb, but I think overall I've liked the way that the characters have been operating within this whole war situation. Like, I feel like they're actually acting pretty realistically. Maybe the fights themselves aren't like aren't realistic or anything like that, but I feel like the decisions they're making are pretty realistic.
Wait, elaborate.
They're not like messing around. They're not spending time talking to each other. Like, everything's serious, and they're fighting right away, and they're like handling business, and I appreciate that.
You mean they're not talking?
I would love it so much if as soon as Ichigo like enters the scene and he asks Yuwak if he's the one who did this, and he just like points a finger as lieutenant, just like, that guy, and then Ichigo just vaporizes him and then goes on to him.
That was so good. Also, I feel like so much stuff has happened that this just got overlooked. But Aizen is kind of back in the plot. Like, I feel like I feel like Yuhavak going to visit him underground is not just like an Easter egg. Like, I feel like that's gonna mean something, especially because he actually like he did something to Yuhavak. So I wonder. I'm excited. I'm just so excited because
I love Aizen so much. He's so cool. I like the way he does his thing. Where he,
Are you being sarcastic? Because I can actually see you saying that. I can see anyone saying that because Aizen actually is cool. So I don't
love
know
him so much. I definitely know who he is. I know which character he is.
All right, yeah, you're being sarcastic.
I don't know. Genuinely, which character is that?
He's the guy who was sitting in the chair, who's like strapped to like the giant pillar.
Wait, who?
Yeah, he's strapped to the giant pillar, and he had like those crystals stabbed into his chest, and he was like talking to.
Oh, okay. He's a bad dude.
You know who? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he was pretty much the antagonist of the whole series up until now.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
So this is interesting to me because it suggests that maybe there could be like a 3-way war happening. Maybe, possibly, that could be interesting. But
I love that Aizen, I love how Aizen just decides to casually fuck with him too. Like, I'm just gonna piss on his plans a little bit, just.
Did you feel like a little bit of like pride for Aizen when he did that to Yuhavak? Because like even though we spent so much time fighting Aizen, like seeing someone else who's not even a Soul Reaper come in and destroy Soul Society is just like, nah, like it gets under my skin,
And then like Aizen comes in, sort of like low key, indirectly saves it too.
Yeah, that's so true. That is crazy. Yeah, it made me like Aizen, but I just have to remember all the stuff in the past. And yeah,
well, I think you get if the main series is a villain, you start to get like almost nostalgic for that villain if they disappear, and then seeing them like shit talk the new villain is I feel like can be like fun. I don't know because I actually watched the rest of the show, but it's cool if that is the case.
Yeah.
How did you feel about Mr. Bleach's entrance and his fight with Waka Flocka Flame?
I thought it was alright. I liked a little moment. I liked when they were just going at it at each other with the swords. I thought it was like pretty like chaotically animated and it was cool. I liked it. I liked him demolishing that one guy who was about to give a monologue. Especially, it makes sense too because they've not had any trouble with anybody else the entire time. So, like, why would they assume that they're vulnerable at all? So I don't have any, like, issues with him. I feel like sometimes when the show slows down, though, it loses any sense of urgency. So, like, when he just kind of goes to that pillar dude and starts, like, talking to him, I feel like that kind of slows down a bit. But other than that, I don't have too much of an issue. with him. I will say, oh yeah,
question of the so between the Yamamoto fight and the Ichigo fight, which one were your guys' favorite?
I wouldn't call the one with the Yamamoto fight an actual fight. And I'm not saying that just to be like, oh, it sucked. More so, like, again, I don't think there's really that much back and forth. Like, that's like a problem I have with some of the other, like, you know, the scene where they bring in a bunch of those like grunts, like stormtrooper looking guys, and they just like go around, just starts demolishing random like randos. I think it like works if like effectively at a point, but when you make your characters so weak and not put up any resistance, I feel like you just kind of lose any kind of, they just like look stupid. I don't know. Like, it would have been nice if yes, they got demolished, but they're able to like do like, I don't know, kill one or two here and there. It's just, I know that seems like a minor thing. It's just, it's hard for me to take anybody seriously except for the main character, because they all actively get their asses kicked at every moment, unless they pull out some like bullshit power thing, which just kind of makes me not just see everyone else as pathetic.
See, because that's the thing that I really didn't like about this whole arc, is that it was just such a slaughter. It literally made, like, there should have been way more back and forth with this.
Yeah.
Like, you should have had a moment where the Soul Reapers are pushing them back, and then they go into their, like, Quincy second form, and then they're like, the Soul Reapers getting pushed back, and then the Soul Reapers go all full on Bankai, and then it starts looking more like an even fight, and then the Quincy's pull out the Bankai stealing MacGuffin, and then you have that slow downfall, and then you bring in Yamamoto, it goes back up, and then you have the final drop. And I think that would have been a much more interesting thing, because, again, the characters don't look cool or strong in this. They just look like they just got slaughtered.
Yeah, but you can also, like you can have a slaughter, but I still think like you can make the slaughter more interesting. I just feel like right now a lot of the like fights aren't that interesting to watch, and I don't really have any kind of like all the like main cast kind of seems like pathetic and and not able to do their job. And like, I guess that makes the main characters stronger by comparison, but I don't know, you just kind of devalue the rest of your main characters.
So
right.
I think how do I put it? I think that yes, they do look weak, but if you look at it from like an overall arc perspective, I think that this is just like this is the beginning of the arc where like they get attacked, they get routed, and then they're gonna come back, and then they're gonna get stronger. My whole point being that I feel like if this beginning part of the arc had dragged out too long, I think the whole arc would have suffered overall, because I feel like people would have gotten bored too early. And I also think that part of the reason that maybe they look so weak to you is because this is your first exposure to them.
True.
Whereas for someone like me, it's not that they look weak, it's just that this is a power scaling moment to show me how strong the Quincy's are. So that's how I see it.
Also, let's just go back to Yamamoto real quick. Apparently he was burning hotter than the sun, and nothing even got erased. Oh my god.
15 degrees. That is an insane number, and he definitely made that shit up on the spot. There's no way he was actually that hot. That is hotter than the sun. That's crazy.
Like that
they just
entire,
threw out a fucking number.
Nation.
It's like 15 million, yeah, sure. And then like, but having a character then repeat that like legitimizes it. So it's like, why? It's so ridiculous.
The entire place should have been a smoldering boulder. Like, think about it. Like, Overkill, like, he wasn't at full power, and Overkill got vaporized to ash. As soon as he went Bankai and hit that sun temperature, everyone should have been dead at that point.
Everyone in like a 50-mile radius should have been dead. A nuclear explosion should have happened.
It's so. I mean, one of his Bankai attacks with a sword is literally just the tip of his sword is a nuclear bomb.
Like every single person in like what was it, the Soul King Palace should be suntanned or at best,
Or die later
or
on.
like cancer
Yeah,
ridden at
like
worst.
dying of cancer because they're just hanging out with this guy that's just so ridiculous.
Imagine like feeling like you're like getting hot inside your house, so you're like open the window and all of a sudden you just get blasted by way of like thermal energy.
The thing that's funny about it is that it's just unnecessary. you could say the heat of volcano. That would work.
Yeah.
Even if you said it's like 1,000 degrees, like that's hot.
Yeah. We talking Fahrenheit, Celsius? Like what are we doing?
In kelvins.
To the like times 10 to the 8th.
It would have been funny if he said 70,003,456 degrees, like very exact, for no reason. It's just, it's such a ridiculous number to throw out, like 17 million.
No, like what you do is instead, like the whole anime modes where all the main characters are just gawking at the power of the character. What you do is like he's like 793 4 million, and he's just listing off the decimals, and you're just like cutting to each of the characters just in shock as he just keeps going listing decimal points.
0.378652 times pi
million.
Oh boy.
What did you guys think about I mean, there are a lot of reveals. Maybe they don't feel as big to you, Matt, but the reveal about the Royal Palace, the Soul King, that's massive to me. I don't know, D, was that mentioned at any point in the series before? I might have just forgotten.
In a sentence. It was like mentioned like really early on about like when they were going over Aizen's plan, but it's been a long time since we've seen this, so it was effectively well built up in my opinion.
Okay. And then there's, Ichigo possibly being Yu Havok's son. Not possibly, I mean, he said he's his son. What do you think about all this stuff, like all these reveals, his mom being a Quincy, all that, like? Okay,
so I heard Ichigo was a Quincy like way back when the manga was being released, and I am aggressively mixed on that because. So Matt, just to give you a quick like heads up. So you know about the whole Hollow monsters, and you know about the Soul Reapers and everything. Well, there are these two other classes. There were Visors, which were Soul Reapers with Hollow powers. And then there were Arankars, which are Hollows with Soul Reaper powers. And those were that was like that little girl with green hair they were hanging around with when they at the start of the series, at the start of the season. And they essentially and Ichigo essentially goes into the Visor category, so he's a Soul Reaper who has Hollow powers. And I think that's a way more interesting thing for Quincy's because they established that their natural enemies are the Hollows and the Soul Reapers. So having a character who is literally both of those things combined going up against them is really interesting to me. And my other issue is I feel like Ichigo's already every single class of character in this. He's a Soul Reaper, he's a Hollow, he was a Fullbringer, now he's a Quincy, and I'm just like, pick a freaking lane, please.
It's like a kid wrote it. It's like my character's a Jedi and a Sith and a
Stormtrooper and a battle droid.
Master pilot too, and it just Sorry, go on, Woody.
I mean, I wasn't really going to say anything that important. I was just going to say it took me until this arc to realize that he was probably planning this all along, like building up, starting off with just him, the Soul Society arc, him just learning about being a Soul Reaper, then Hollow, Fullbringer, all that stuff, and now Quincy. I guess, I'm just now realizing that there's a pattern.
Also, I will say this. It would have been a lot better if he was two of those things, it would have been fine. But the fact that he's been 5 different classes kind of waters it down a bit. Also, I just realized that Ichigo's like inner voice, his like the personification of his sword Modi, has the same mustache pattern as Yu Habak.
Wait, whoa. Yeah, okay, that's so true, and I don't think that's a coincidence because I remember
Yeah.
I've been thinking this whole time that Yuhavak looks familiar, and now I understand. It's because it's his sword. He looks like his sword. That can't be a
Yeah.
coincidence. Oh, and Yuhavak is saying Ichigo's his son.
Mm-hmm.
Who's the father?
Oh. Okay.
So if you look up, there's a character name. So if you go online, look up Zangetsu
I'm not able to
Bleach.
remember how to type that.
Essentially, every single. So in Bleach, all of the characters, all of their swords have their own like personality or their own like persona that lives inside the main character. And the persona or the physical manifestation of Ichigo's sword has the same mustache pattern and the same hairstyle as Yuabaka.
Oh, cool.
So, bum, bum, bum.
Yeah, that is definitely not a coincidence. Absolutely not. And yeah, it makes that makes a lot more sense too, knowing now that they're related. So, what do you think the deal is with Ichigo and his dad back home? The dad who's a doctor in the real world. Like, what's going on with that?
I'm willing to put money on that Ichigo's doctor dad is the real dad. And
Yeah.
I'm thinking that his mom had a thing with Waka Flocka.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's where the whole son thing kind of comes into.
Okay.
Or it's some other kind of anime bullshit where it's like, yes, my soul energy pierced your mother before she got pregnant with you. So technically,
that's
you
probably
have
it.
two
As she was
dads."
climaxing, my
That's-
Bankai snuck
Oh
in
my God.
with the rest of the sperm. Anyways, sorry.
Oh God. Yeah, that's
Okay,
probably.
now I'm just picturing. Oh my. Bankai.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. That's probably it. I can see something like that being the case.
Or Aizen distorted their senses, so they got their partners mixed up.
Oh God, please no, stop.
Or Aizen was secretly the father, and he distorted his sperm senses to imitate his Ichigo, like his original home father, and Yuabak's
Wait, does this guy have the no-no
Boom.
symbol on his sword? I'm looking at a picture of the
Yes.
sword, and he's got the no-no symbol. I know it means a different thing in other cultures, but oh my god.
Yes, it's it's a moon. It's called a Munji symbol, and it's a ancient Buddhist symbol. So it is not.
I know
the
it's not the no-no. I'm saying no-no so we don't get flagged on YouTube, but...
Also, he's part German. That doesn't help it
No,
very
it
much.
doesn't. Okay, yeah, I mean, that's just... I'm not going to fault them for that. That's just a culture thing, I guess. Crazy, though.
Yeah.
If you want to be a
Plus a lot of-
cosplayer and you got... Oh, boy.
So apparently in Japan, there's a lot of different temples that do have that symbol prominently on them. So it has been a thing before the Nazis. So you don't have to worry
Right,
about
I mean, they have a
that.
similar thing with Spain, where in religious ceremonies they wear the no-no hood. But that's that's like, that was way before the other thing. Okay.
I feel so bad for that. Like, imagine like wearing your religious clothes, and then just everyone just like, no, I'm not a Nazi. I'm just religious.
Like, can you just going to another country and you're like, well, what the fuck is happening over here? What the hell?
No, you just like, you make your first trip to Germany, and you're just like,
Whoa.
whoa,
That's not a good
shit.
thing.
Yeah, that makes sense now.
Okay, cool, fun trivia, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, at least for me, I don't have anything else to say about the episode. These episodes. Do you guys
I
have
have a
anything
few.
else? Oh, I do have one thing actually. Small thing, big thing actually. Khan's back. I'm happy to see Khan. I've been wondering where he is, and yeah, welcome back. And that's
Con,
it. Yeah. He's the little teddy bear
Oh,
in
okay.
episode 8. You might have missed
where he
him.
gets
I don't
like
know.
a hologram out of his head.
So the way, so in Bleach, since they're all ghosts and some of them are still alive, they have these little like pills that he can swallow to separate their souls from their bodies. and then the pills like fill the body with a backup soul. And apparently the little teddy bear is like a version of that soul that became self-aware and basically developed his own fear of death. So instead of just yanking him out of Ichigo's body and just leaving him to rot, they put him in a little teddy bear so he could walk around and do his own thing. Also, about that, and this is a headcanon, but I really hope it's true. They established that like Quincy's have like their own human bodies with that guy with glasses, Uryu, at the very beginning. So I love the idea that like the Quincy, and we also established that like regular humans can go between the different worlds without being dead or being spirits or anything. So I love the idea that all the Quincy's started all that shit with the Soul Reapers while they were alive, and then when they got wiped out, all of their like spirit self just pieced the hell off into like German heaven for like 1,000 years, just planning on and just being like, okay, this went pretty south. We have one more chance. Let's take our time and do this next thing right.
Wait, so is that actually what happened? Did they actually die?
I hope, like, that's what I'm hoping that's what I'm hoping is going on right now, where they just killed their human versions, and then their just soul versions just went off and just did their, like, 1,000-year training arc to just grind up before they let everything else go to shit.
You know what? If they actually were sitting there for 1,000 years, lifting weights and shit, then I respect it, and they deserve their win. They deserve
just
their win.
Grinding.
Yeah.
They go to like their home base and it's just nothing. It's just a giant planet-sized gym.
I have to ask both of you a question, since this could totally be just my lack of knowledge of the show. The big buff dude and the girl with the big personality. Are they supposed to be like the like secondary? Are they like the main friends of Ichigo?
Yes.
Okay. They're not given anything to do in the past 8 episodes. The only time we see them do anything is when they get like stabbed, I guess, by the weird dude. And they're such like, I don't know. You'd think they would give them moments, especially this last season. They would have moments too, but so far they're just so useless. They're like stuck in the sand hell dimension, and I don't know what.
Okay,
are they strong?
How dare you?
Are they supposed to be strong? Do they do stuff?
How dare you? Like, did you not see episode 8? Like, the girl with the huge talons was throwing confetti, and the big dude was playing the maracas. How dare you say they were not doing anything?
I mean, I like the big dude, I guess. I just don't. They don't do anything. I've completely forgot about them until they popped up in the hologram.
I think at this point in the series, when the cast is this huge, it's probably like, it makes sense. It's hard to
it's your main characters. It's
find
like
something
it's like Avatar.
to do for all the characters.
It's like an Avatar.
But I think, especially like when the plot takes place in Soul Society, I can understand. But I will say it is, like you said, it's weird, especially if it's the last arc, to not have your main side characters do something. But I think they will, because like I said, I think we're just the beginning of the arc, and I think they always do. They always do. Like at the end, they're always going to have like the secondary main battles after Ichigo. So, I mean, I'm not too worried about that.
Also, the other thing you have to realize is they introduced at least 24 new villains.
True.
Not counting, like, disregarding the 3 that already the 4 got axed off in the initial attack. And they just introduced, 5 new, like, mentor characters. So I think some people are going to have to get cut eventually.
Yeah, I think overall the Sado and Orihime, not the 2 main side characters not being shown as much, can pretty much comes down to what we were talking about earlier, which is just them losing too easily. I think it all just comes down to the writers just trying to get past this part of the story, not trying to dwell too long on this part of the story, because I don't think this is the meat of the story. So I think they're trying to get to the actual meat of the story as soon as they can, and they don't want to waste time giving the side characters like important fights or
They gave the other
during
side characters
this part.
like random stuff or like these new villains. I guess I don't know why you would introduce like 20 new villains in the final episode unless you're like just going to like just then kill them off. But I mean, I think you're right. I think they're gonna do something with them later on. It's just weird because I didn't even know what to like think about them because I thought they were like part of the main cast, but then they're like, they haven't had anything to do in like the past 8 episodes. But I mean, you're probably right. Also, just out of curiosity, what happened to the 3 women that also got demolished by
No
the weird,
idea.
like, fascist looking guy? Are
Which,
they alive?
Which women? Oh, them.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Good point.
They're probably alive.
Oh, wait.
Okay.
Wait. Did they lose?
They lost.
They lost, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think they lost.
I have no idea. Okay, Matt, just to give you a quick context, and this is like why I don't take death in Bleach seriously. The last time we saw them before this point, they were getting burnt to ash by like the old dude. So anything's up for like half these characters they brought back, I thought they were legit dead.
Matt, consider the whiplash.
I guess we'll just
Imagine the whiplash of seeing these characters getting burned alive by that old man, and then the next arc, not only are they alive, but they're on the same side. It's
wait, yeah,
what?
They get killed again, and then they come back.
Were they enemies before?
Yes, they were enemies. They were enemies before, yeah.
Okay.
Just to give you, this is their character arc. They were the boss of an arc, then all of a sudden the old dude comes in, one-shots them. Then they come back in this season, the jailer dude one-shots them, and then they come back again, summon their like giant kaiju, and then they get one-shotted again. So I don't know what's going on with those
They
characters.
just didn't make characters, they make like cool action figures.
It's funny
I won't
too.
deny that, debate that, but I will say that's what I like about it.
It's funny too because I feel like if there's any series in Shonen Jump that could have gotten away with killing off characters, it would have been Bleach, because Bleach is like so edgy compared to the others. Like people would have accepted it, Like I feel like people would have accepted it. So yeah.
Can we talk about the Team Zero?
Yes.
First of all, have they showed up at all before, and what do you guys think about them as veterans of the show?
So, we have not seen them before, and I am mixed. I like their personalities. I think their designs are a little on the weak side, because it's clear they're going with the whole trope of like these weird, goofy guys being like the strongest in the world kind of trope. But the fact that
Very One Punch Man.
we haven't seen, but the fact that we know that they have like 2 extra levels of power-ups ahead of them makes me really interested to see where this all goes. So I like their personalities. I like their execution. I like their designs in theory, and I'm looking forward to seeing what they do next.
They're probably going to get
and
fucked,
I love the
right?
Pompadour guy.
They're probably going to get just absolutely demolished next time we see them do combat, right?
No, I doubt it.
I'm hoping I'm giving Kubo the benefit of the doubt, the writer of this, that if they do get demolished, they'll have a interesting bit of spectacle to it.
There you go. What do you think, Modi? Oh, sorry. Continue, Dalton.
I was going to say Pompadour guy for the win.
To write these down. Okay.
Pompadour. Oh yeah. Yeah. So what I think, I like their character designs a lot. I think the main guy, the leader, the bald guy, one of my favorite character designs ever, actually. But I think not the anime version, the manga version, because I've seen the manga version a lot online just over the years, and I think it's just such a cool character design. I like it a lot.
What's his name again? I want to look it up.
I don't think his name was even said, actually, or maybe it was, and I just forgot.
Okay.
But yeah, I forgot his name. He's the bald guy in Squad Zero.
Team Zero and Jujutsu Kaisen as well.
There has to be.
I think so. Maybe.
I looked up Team Zero guy, and then it.
Okay.
Jujutsu Kaisen. So.
I like the other character designs too. Personality wise, I love them. I think they're great. Yeah, overall, I like them, and I'm looking forward to seeing more of what happens with them, especially considering what they said about how they technically those five are stronger than the 13 put together. So that just has my meathead power scaling brain thinking like, okay, so I wonder if there's any of the 13 who would be able to take on one of those five, and who would it be? I just start thinking about all of those things. So yeah, that's interesting. I'm looking forward to seeing them fight, seeing how strong they are.
Also, I want to this is just going back to the whole initial attack on the Soul Society, but I fucking love how the red-haired guy and the other girl just got knocked around a little bit. Meanwhile, Byakuya, the guy who got pinned against the wall, was literally stabbed by a whole swarm of knives, blown away, had his entire chest blown off, and somehow he's in the same level of intensive care as the guy who got kicked into a wall.
Wait, what happened to the girl that got her fucked up?
I have no idea. They never showed it.
She was just lying on a rock when we saw her.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. She didn't even fight any of the main ones. And yet she's in worse shape. And on top of that, the dude is just a complete dick to Byakuya. He just yeets him into the other pool, and I'm just oh my god, I hope that's the training arc. Him and Ichigo are just playing catch with each other bodies, just dumping them into the other pool and stuff.
I think Team Zero was a lot of. I like their designs as well. I like the way that the Pompadour guy's wig animates. I think it wraps around someone at some point.
Yeah, he uses it he kind of holds it like a scythe for a second, and it's so nice.
It's just funny visual gags, and I like the metal hands lady, and actually, I do like the design of the big bearded dude.
Yeah,
or even having a different a woman with a different body type. Although they still play up the whole oh, I'm starving, but it's I like their designs so far.
Your prejudice to people who are well endowed in chest is disgusting, sir. Okay?
What do you mean?
You know what? Big chested people have feelings too. They deserve representation, alright?
I complimented the lady. I can see kind of the point, Dee's point, that maybe they're not, even though they have cool designs, maybe it's weird for them to be the number one team to look like that. But yeah, I actually liked episode 8 a lot better than the other ones. I think I just don't like the way the anime does combat in general, or just fighting stuff. Because I found some of the visual gags a bit more entertaining than any of the fighting stuff, I guess, which I think is just what I like from anime a bit more sometimes.
Yeah, I can see that.
Because we also got to see a little bit more about the characters doing stuff. I like the little I honestly I feel like they should have been a little bit more devastated about the main leader just getting one shot by a dude. But especially with how much respect they were giving him when he first came in. But I did like the bit of tension between some of the team members to show that they all had different relations to this guy.
I also love the fact that he specifically told the medical unit to stay the fuck away from the battlefield. How screwed do you have to be just to we're gonna be pretty effed up, and it's good. And I would like to have the people who can un-F us stay un-F'd, okay?
Oh, also, I thought that so their explanation why Team Zero didn't help with the battle was because they essentially they had more important shit to guard, I guess.
Yes.
Okay. Because they're being awfully rude about. Because I would also be where the fuck were you guys? Our entire leader died. And what is the relationship between the? So is the Soul Society that what is that area, and then what is the Heavenly area? What's the relationship between the two? What are?
So the Soul Society, from what I've gathered, again, this is a world building issue.
Yeah.
Is where all of the civilians live, and the main captains are the ones who protect the civilians. And then essentially the Soul King is in like the administrative section, so he's like sending out orders to everyone below them just to manage everything.
Yeah, I can accept the idea that they're more concerned with like protecting headquarters in case someone does sneak around.
Yeah.
So I mean, I guess that's fine.
Yeah, I like the dynamic between them. I like the whole senpai kohai thing. I'm really excited to see what's going to happen with Squad Zero. I think they're going to have some really interesting fights. But I do agree when I think about it that seeing as they're like kind of like a separate squad, their uniforms should look kind of different from the rest. Yeah. Anything else you guys want to add?
I think I'm good.
No, okay. I think we talked about it a good amount. Oh, what is up with the caterpillar dude? Why does he look like that?
Which caterpillar?
The guy looks like a giant caterpillar. The weird scientist
guy.
The
weird. Yeah, he just looks weird.
Okay, cool. I'm fine with that. That's a fine explanation.
Also, Matt, real quick.
Yeah.
I never realized. So, a caterpillar is literally his like Bankai's like his sword's final form, and I'm surprised you were able to like predict that from his design. I didn't even notice that at first.
Yeah, I never realized it was a caterpillar either. But yeah, he also had like like the gold stuff on his body was similar to the gold stuff on that lady in Squad Zero. I wonder if there's like some and they're both also like the scientists of their respective groups, so I feel like there might be some sort of something going on there that we might get an explanation on later about why it's gold.
Also, the reason he looks like that is because he's a cyborg, so he just modifies his body whenever he feels like it.
So is the gold actually just gold?
Yeah, I think it's just a part of his body.
Oh,
because he changes it every like season he's in.
Got you.
There's a cartoon or some show where a guy turns into a caterpillar and it's like his face on a caterpillar. I don't remember what it was from, though.
I know exactly what you're talking about, and I don't want to think about that show because it's creepy. Okay.
Wait, which show was it?
I don't remember the name, and I don't want to.
Put it in the comments which show it is.
Don't.
It's killing me.
Do not
do it. You know you all want to.
Okay. Also, one final last thing from me. I think there might be some sort of character arc being set up for Unohana. That is the lady Matt who has the long braided hair and she's like the medic.
Yep.
Because like the whole thing about it kind of seemed like the guy from Squad Zero was kind of like making her feel guilty. It kind of seems like there's something being set up around her, like not doing enough to save, the people of Soul Society. So I just want to mention that I think there might be something brewing there with her. All right, I'll just go ahead and give my rating, and then you guys can give yours. I would give it a 9 out of 10. I thought it was great. I think the thing that pushes it to a 9 for me is all the world building stuff. Like this is stuff that I've been starving to hear for so long. Stuff about Ichigo's mom and what actually is Soul Society, the Soul King, all that. So yeah, 9 out of 10 for me.
You gave
and
Yamamoto.
Yamamoto also. Okay. Sorry, go ahead.
I'm going to give this a solid 8.5. I think we got great animation. We got some great fight scenes, a lot of fun visuals. I think what brings it down to an 8.5 is just a lot of the systemic flaws I have with Bleach. But all in all, I had a good time with these, and I'm probably going to rewatch a few of them in my free time.
Okay. I've been way too positive to this show, especially in this episode. I think I gave way too much praise to it. It, there are parts of it where I was even I feel like I was especially during the fight scenes, they drag on so long that I just kind of want to, I almost want to skip them. But so I think this time I need to be more serious about my rating. I need to make sure that it comes across my feelings towards this show, and that's why this time I'm not fucking around. It's 11 out of 10.
Oh,
damn right!
It is an 11 out of 10. I don't know if we can get much better than this. Honestly, I'm deleting. I have a whole watch list for shows that I want to watch, and I've replaced them all with just rewatching this episode.
Matt's gonna go back from the beginning and watch all of Bleach leading up to this point.
You know, we joked about the whole the vomit, the Bleach being the vomit. That's actually every other show. No, it's not Bleach.
Damn right. The Bleach is peak fiction.
It really
Let that be
is.
known.
It really is.
All right. Well, I guess see you guys next week when Matt will have watched 300 episodes of Bleach.
And the same ones too.
Yes.
Yeah. But yeah, no.
He's gonna watch all of Bleach, read the manga, and then go back and rewatch the entire anime again just to make sure he didn't miss anything.
I'm going to have surgery to make myself look more like Mr. Bleach.
He'll be explaining.
He's gonna get
more
his hair
to us.
dyed.
I'm gonna get my hair dyed. I'm gonna have the weird no sword. It's gonna be great.
The Moonji sword.
The Moonji sword. Okay.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, that's been our review of episodes 6 through 8 of Bleach: 1,000-Year Blood War. Come back 2 weeks from now when we will do episodes 9 and 10. Next week will be Chainsaw Man 7 and 8. Thank you for watching. See you next time.
Yep. Take it easy. Stay safe. Have a good one. Bankai.